Okay, we'll now look at exercise 19.9 on page 1174, dealing with an employee share purchase plan. And let's go ahead and read the exercise first. In order to encourage employee ownership of the company's $1 par common shares, Washington Distribution permits any of its employees to buy shares directly from the company through payroll deduction. Sounds like a great plan. I think that's, there's a couple of things there. It raises some capital for the corporation, and it also allows the employees to have some ownership, which in theory would cause them to take more pride in their work, you would think. But that's beside the point when it comes to the journal entry. Let's read further. There are no brokerage fees, and shares can be purchased at a 15% discount. Okay, during March, employees purchased 50,000 shares at a time when the market price of the shares on the New York Stock Exchange was $12 per share. Okay, and they're getting a 15% discount, of course, on the $12. Prepare the appropriate journal entry to record the March purchases of shares under the employee share purchase plan. Okay. You guys, I'm not going to put in a date here. I'm just going to make the entry. I guess you maybe could date it March 31st, but they would probably make this entry each payroll period. And if it's only once a month, March 31st would work. But let's just don't worry about the date here. Now, the issuing corporation, Washington Distribution, is going to receive, of course, cash. Well, how much? Well, the cash received would be equal to the 50,000 shares times $12 per share times the 15% discount. No, excuse me. They're getting a 15%. I almost screwed that up for you there. Times the $12 per share, and they're paying, what, 85% of the normal price. They're getting a 15% discount, so we'll multiply times 0.85 to get the amount of cash they would receive. If they were issuing the shares to outside parties, you just multiply the 50,000 times 12. But since they're getting a 15% discount, then they're getting the shares at 85% of the market price on that date. So the cash received by Washington Distribution would be $510,000. Okay, then we're going to debit compensation expense. Because the difference in the market price of the shares and what we're allowing employees to buy them for is compensation to the employee. So that 15% discount represents compensation expense to the employee. So let's calculate it. That's 50,000 shares times $12 a share times the 15% discount, or 0.15. So that's 90,000. Okay, now of course we have to put the common stock on the books. Remember, of course, common stock always goes on the books at par value. 50,000 shares times the $1 par. Okay, and then we would credit, I'm sure you guessed it by now, paid in capital in excess of par common stock for what it takes to balance the entry. So it's the 510 plus the 90,000 minus I5, playing bingo again. So we get 600,000 on both sides. Okay, we debit cash for the amount of cash Washington Distribution will receive, which was 50,000 shares at the market price of $12 a share times 85%, because the employees are able to buy the shares at 85% of the market value because they get a 15% discount. We debit compensation expense for the amount of the discount. Well, the discount is the 50,000 shares times the market price times the discount percentage, 15%. We put common stock on the books at par value, 50,000 shares at $1 each. And then we credit paid-in capital in excess of par common stock to balance out the entry because cash received was above. Cash either received or paid to the employees as compensation was above par value by $550,000. Okay, you guys, after that one, I don't think you'll have any trouble with exercise 19.9 on the Connect site. If you have any questions, please be in touch. Thanks a lot.